Godshall.
What was your father's name?
My father's name was Henry Derstein.
And what was your mother's maiden name?
Maiden name?
Before she was married.
Oh, Heya, H-E-Y. Hannah Heya.
Okay. What is your birthday?
My birthday?
Yeah.
August the 3rd.
And what year?
Huh?
What year were you born?
1888.
Where were you born?
Why, in Hatfield Township.
On a farm or?
Yes, on a farm. Mm-hmm.
Did you used to do chores on the farm when you were little?
Oh, yes, I had to pick weeds. And I was old enough once, you know.
Uh-huh. Is that all you did, or did you, like, take
Oh,
care of
well,
them?
I had a milk when I was a little old enough to milk.
By hand?
Milk the cows.
Hand milk them, or did you?
Hand milk, yes, that time. Huh?
Did you mind working, or did you?
Oh, I got tired sometimes of it.
What did you do for fun? Like, what games did you play, or?
Oh, if we played games, we didn't have so much. In school, we used to play old mates. And sometimes when they had company, we didn't have much games.
Did your dad ever discipline you?
What?
Like, when you were bad, what did your parents do?
I got a whipping once.
Do you think kids were better then than now? Like, do you think?
Well, yes, I guess they were better because when they grew up, they had to have somebody that trained them, my parents. I never regretted that. Some used to say that their parents were so hard to them, but it was good for me.
Where did you go to school?
Sunnyside in Hatfield Township, yes.
Was that a one-room school?
Yes, it was a one-room school. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any of your teachers?
Oh, yes. Reverend J. Clemens. But J. Clemens, 4 years I went to his school. He taught 4 years there. You know that minister, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is young J. Clemens' father.
I heard some story my mother told me about J.C. Clemens punishing you or something.
Huh?
Did you draw on the board or something once?
Oh, I get a whipping from him once. I don't know how old I was, maybe 8 years or so. We were supposed to study, and we two sat side of each other, and we were playing a game, you know. And then he threw chalk, and I had to bring it up. I and the other girl, the other one got first, and I sort of cried, and then I didn't get it so hard.
Did you like him as a teacher?
Uh-huh.
Did you like him as a teacher?
Oh, yes, I liked him. Mm-hmm. Who taught him afterwards? Oh, one of our big boys that graduated from his school taught us Lyman Kretz and Horace Kriebel. They were the big boys when I was small, and then they taught school there yet.
Did you like have recess when you were at school? Did you go out to play?
Yes, and we had recess and dinner.
Did you play games outside like
Yes,
little?
and hide and seek. And they made a ring. How do you call that? I don't know how you call that.
Ring around the rosy?
Yes, I guess it was something like that.
I heard a story once you were up on the barn or something. What happened
Yes.
there?
I wish I wasn't that time. My oldest sister was sitting up, you know, they were hauling hay or wheat, I don't know no more. And she went in the inside up, she had to be up there, and was 2 doors on the outside, and I stood down and I said to her, you think I'd come up there? It was a roof, but it was a pretty slanting. I didn't think it was a slanting. I took a hold of the side, and I crawled up there. When I was at the corner, then it was the highest of all, you know. And then I looked down, but I couldn't. I thought it looked as though it would go straight down. I was so afraid. And we had the painters, and then one of the painters had to put a ladder there, so I could crawl down.
So you were stuck up there?
Huh?
Were you stuck until he came?
I was holding myself, but I was glad when he came.
Where did you go to church when you were younger?
Oh, to twins.
How often did you used to go to church a week?
Huh?
How often did you go to church? Was it just Sunday
Oh,
mornings?
well, see, once they just had every 2 weeks for a while, church. the roads were somewhat insecure. In Sunday school, we didn't have any in the winter because it wasn't not nice to drive. The roads were not fit.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get around then, like going to church? You were saying about the roads. What did you use?
Oh, we used a wagon, carriage.
And how many horses did you usually have? Just one?
Just one in the carriage.
Did you used to drive?
Oh, when I was a little older, I used to ride the horse.
Did they ever have accidents like with horses and buggies?
I don't believe. Oh, once, well, but that time I was married, we upset it with a sled.
What did you used to do Sunday afternoons?
Oh, well, when I was big enough once, I used to visit my girlfriends, you know. Went to church down here. And then I had company too. Sometimes they came and visit me.
Mm-hmm. How old were you, most of the people, when they became members at the church?
Well, I was married. I was 20 years old.
Is that how most people did, or did
that
some?
Time, not so many people belonged to church, but some did before they were married.
Do you remember any other things? You know, any events that happened to you when you were younger?
I was very sick when I was 5 years old. I remember brain croup. They didn't believe I'd get over it. But our neighbor girl had it too. Where Rosenberg is living, there was a girl. She had the same age as I, but she died of the same disease. My baby was true. But
what was your husband's name?
Joel Godshall.
How did you meet him?
Oh, well, he wrote a letter that way I met it.
Did he know you before at all?
Yes, he knew me before. He went to the same church that I did.
What did you do together? Like, did you go to church together? Or?
Yeah, in the evenings we used to visit other girlfriends and boyfriends, you know, sometimes.
Did he drive a buggy?
He had a horse and a buggy. Well, it was a falling top. Falling top, you called it, with the top on. Now the buggies that didn't have tops on, but he had one with the top on, falling top.
Was it, how many would sit in it?
Like two, only
Just
two.
two. How old were you then when you got married?
I was 20.
How many children did you have then?
Three boys.
And how many were in your family? When you were...
And in my Stevens, I had three sisters and two brothers. That was 6 with me.
Which were you then? Which of them?
I was the third oldest.
Third oldest. Did you ever work away from home?
Oh, I made vests. I sewed vests for the factory.
Oh, yeah. Did you sew them at home, or did you go work
at home? At home. I fetched them and made them at home.
Where was this factory?
Cubsville.
Then did you just work on the farm after that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was busy all summer. They had a help to make hay, you know, and sometimes I used to have the 2 horses in the roller when they planted corn, you know, and 1 horse in the hay rake. That was when they made hay then.
How many worked with you out there?
Well, just one could do that. We changed, I and my sister, the one that was a little younger than I, we changed off. Sometimes she took my place, and I used to make sometimes a dress for her. I'd rather sew than work outside.
Did you make a lot of the clothes for your children once you were married?
Yes, you couldn't buy much sport clothes at that time.
And did you raise most of the food on the farm to eat?
Oh yes, we always had a patch and a garden.
What do you do now to pass your time?
Oh, I'm piecing a quilt. Just now. And sleep in between. I get to sleep in.
Going back to travel, do you remember when cars first came out?
Oh yes. Oh, we had a little accident with one once, yes. Then they went home from church. They weren't very far away from the church, these cars. Went for the gutter. And then Curtis, your grandpa, he was sitting on my lap and had a little straw hat on, and he pumped in there, or else he would have cut his face. That broke the shield. And somebody had to take us home. There was something wrong at the car that was bent. One at once it went in the gutter against the bank.
Was everyone okay then?
Yes.
No one got hurt?
It was just my husband, and he drove the car.
What did you think when you first saw the cars coming out?
I didn't see any other cars. There was no other car in.
No.
When they first
came.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, we got a second-handed car first. And we got that truck first. That was the truck that we came in the gutter, Then we got a second-hand Ford. Oh, yes, I thought it was so nice. We went to where it was water. Where was it now? But I don't remember where it was no more. We didn't go in the water. We just watched.
Was it pretty far away?
It was pretty far away, but it wasn't Child Pond. It was farther than that.
Did you often go on any far trips?
No, we didn't. There wasn't so many places to go. That time that people didn't get off, didn't get the vacation.
Are there certain things you like better about the past than you like now?
Oh, well, we have it much handier than we used to. And we used to have it in the house, and everywhere. We had to have outside toilets, we didn't have inside toilets, we didn't have the water in the house,
Is there anything that you liked better before?
Well, the things are handier now than they were that time.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember anything special about the wars, like any of them, like World War II?
About the wars? I used to hear about it. If it wasn't for John Lapp, a whole lot of our people had to go to. We went to Washington, I guess, talked with the president, if I'm not sure, right? Anyway, he said we're not supposed to kill, and they left us go free, but on some places they didn't. They were rough to them.
Do you know some Mennonites that went to war then? Do you know any Mennonites that had gone to war?
No, I don't remember any, except Wallace had a boy. He wouldn't have to go, but he wanted to go, and he made them believe he was older. He wasn't really old enough yet, but he never listened at home. He didn't listen. He took his own way.
Is he still away from home now?
Oh, well, then he married Adam. He's Chinese. He married, when he was a baby.
Did you hear much news? Like, did you know who the presidents were when you were younger?
Oh, Roosevelt, I know. McKinley, I know. Now the others, I forgot the names.
Did anyone around here vote for president, or didn't they do that?
I don't believe. Maybe in the beginning they voted.
How did you hear about most things like president's stuff? Was it in the newspapers?
In the papers, yes.
When did you first get radio?
Well, we didn't have any at home. We got one. When was it now? Was it before my husband died? And he died about 33 years already. He died.
What do you think of all this, the modern things like all the cars?
I think they're all right if they take care how they drive, but it's dangerous. Oh, they go so fast. And if you read in the paper about every day about accidents, guns. And my granddaughter, she had an accident. Was it 2 years? And her little boy her boy was 12 years old, I guess. He got killed. They didn't stop it. It was a big tanker coming, and they were on the way to was it Bible study, I guess. It was Betty.
Mm-hmm.
Betty's family. His name was Derstein. Derstein. Yes, they were on the way to church. But now Connie, that's the oldest girl, she was here at Christopher Doctor, and maybe you saw her already here. That's Betty's girl, Betty. And the other girl was along, and the boy had just 3 children. And this tanker wanted to go through the sand before and he drove right against him, and he threw him. They said the car looked as though nobody could get alive from it. Well, her mother, Connie's mother, she didn't know anything, and she was in the hospital, and her other sister, a little younger than she, that was along, she, I guess it was about 2 weeks or so that she didn't, they didn't expect her to live. But the boy killed right away, and they couldn't go to the funeral. They were in the hospital. Yes, and the father was hurt pretty bad in the, was it broken or something in here, and he couldn't use his arm. But he could go to the funeral. Maybe you had heard of that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess he must have. I know Mary came over and said she has bad news for me. She said that they had an accident and the boy was killed and the others are in the hospital.
Your son was in an accident once, wasn't he? Curtis?
How was that? Yes, but they never, when he was 18 years old. Yes, but there was no other car around there. He never could find out what happened, but a lot of people thought maybe he fell asleep. He was with his girlfriend pretty late, and it was raining. And then there in Hatfield, near Hatfield, yes, there the road was a little uneven, and that through the car, I guess he was going too fast, through the car on one side of the road and the other side hit the pole. Hit a new car. And then that way then the police, then they called us up, and then we were in bed. And then it shocked us so that we didn't know where our clothes were to put on, I and my husband, And then he saddened out a little. Well, then the police came. They wondered why we wouldn't come. My husband, Kurt's dad, he thought he couldn't drive. And then he asked Willis. Willis lived here at that time. They lived over here. And then Willis took us up, and then they passed the car. Oh, the seat was with blood. And I thought he was dead. They didn't tell us how bad he was. Then we went up to the hospital. Then they were fixing him. And he was all patched up in the face and looked though he was dead when we saw him once. We had to wait pretty long till they had it fixed once, like we could see him. And he was 1 month in the hospital. And he got over it, but they didn't expect that he'd get over it.
Did you often use hospitals?
No.
Like you had your children all at home?
I guess that was the first time that one was in the hospital.
Did you have all your children at home then?
Well, it was just Ernest, yes, he was at home. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.